Ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen.
One key to success for your cow herd is proper mineral nutrition. Today, we'll have expert advice and insights on the best ways to deliver the minerals your herd needs to grow and thrive.
And now, NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. Success for all of us as cow-calf producers, myself included, starts with the health and nutrition of our cows. If your cows are healthy and in good body condition and are breeding back, then you have a solid foundation on which to build. And of course, a sound nutrition program is a key part of that formula. What sometimes gets overlooked when it comes to nutrition is the need for cows to have consistent intake of high-quality minerals. And that's our focus today. Strategies and insights you can use to create or fine-tune a mineral nutrition program that'll keep your cow herd on the right track. And we have an experienced group of folks with us to share some of those insights and the latest on mineral nutrition program. Joining me today is Dr. N.T. Cosby, a senior consultant with Purina Animal Nutrition. Dr. Cosby, tell us a little bit about your background with Purina.
Hello, Kevin. This is my 19th year with Purina. I provide tech service and support to our dealers and customers, sales team from the Flint Hills to the Ozarks and a little bit of the Louisiana Gulf Coast. For 15 of those 19 years, my wife Kelly and I have lived near Mexico, Missouri, and raised our son Colin there.
Outstanding. We have a son named Colin, too. I like the name. And Harry Mosier joins us today from Kansas. Harry, tell us a little bit about your operation.
Well, we are a family-owned operation. My wife Lisa and I are in northeast part of Kansas on the northern edge of the Flint Hills. We raise Angus, and Simmental cattle along with the commercial cow herd. Our son and son-in-law are both involved in our operation also.
Outstanding. Thanks for coming today.
You're welcome.
And rounding out our panel is Sarah Leonard, a sales specialist with Purina Animal Nutrition. Sarah, introduce yourself.
Well, thanks, Kevin. I'm Sarah Leonard, and I'm from Northeast Kansas as well, a little farther east of Harry, and I cover an area that goes from the edge of the Flint Hills on the eastern side clear over to the Ozarks. And I have actually been with the company about 25 years, representing the Purina brand, about 15 of those. So work closely with producers as well as dealers.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And Harry, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about the relationship that you have with Sarah and Purina Animal Nutrition.
Well, we've known Sarah for quite a while and have used her as a consultant and also bounced ideas off of her. A couple of years ago, we did a feed test for her with the Stress Care 5 product. So we know each other very well, and she knows our operation very well. So I've never hesitated to call her with a question.
That's outstanding. Well, let's talk a little bit about that relationship, because I know Purina prides itself in the kinds of value-added services and the support you bring to customers. What kind of insight and advice do you bring to customers like Harry and his family?
Well, I hope that Harry would feel like he can call me to maybe glean some information that I might have gathered from another producer, and that we can kind of bounce ideas off of one another. I try to stay up on industry goings-on, if you will, and be able to convey those to Harry. We talked about a lot of issues on the way out here in the car, and certainly I hope that I'm considered an asset to Harry's operation.
Outstanding. Harry, we talked at the top of the show, this show is about mineral nutrition, and I'm curious, what are you trying to accomplish with your mineral program in Mosier Ranch?
Well, I think in any mineral program, wherever you are, we're trying to make sure that we affect our bottom line. You know, where we have quite a few cows, conception rates are very important to us, so we want to make sure that the cows have proper nutrition and breed back. That's probably one of our biggest assets for that part of the program.
You know, as we talk about breed back, that's clearly one of the things that mineral programs do for us. But Dr. Cosby, why would you say it's so important to evaluate our mineral program and take a look at what's happening on a year-round basis?
Right, Kevin. to me as a nutritionist, mineral really is the cornerstone of developing a complete nutrition program. Minerals can affect everything from efficiency of energy utilization to encoding of genetic material to skin and membrane health, and what that may relate to something that a producer like Harry could measure would maybe return to estrus quicker, a shorter postpartum interval, soundness and fertility of his bull battery, and health of those calves from the time they hit the ground and take their first meal of colostrum all the way to the weaning pins.
Very good. Well, I appreciate your insight, and we're going to be digging much deeper into this important topic throughout our program today. Now, if you'd like more information about mineral nutrition or Purina, you can visit the website purinamills.com. Still ahead on NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, we'll have more about the value of consistent year-round mineral nutrition for your herd. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're watching NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen on RFD TV.
No storm is too powerful for new Purina Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, formulated with ultimate weather resistance. That means more minerals in the feeder and available to your cattle. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals provide more consistent intake and balanced mineral nutrition to optimize herd health and breedback rates. See the difference at your local Purina dealer or visit cattlenutrition.com. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, another way Purina is building better cattle.
Beef Quality Assurance is your consumer-friendly story. Becoming BQA certified allows you to share your story and ensure customers that we're responsibly raising a safe, wholesome, and healthy beef supply. The checkoff-funded BQA program equips you with the best management practices for handling cattle, tending to their health, and taking care of the environment. And now, thanks to a partnership with Behringer Ingelheim, you and your employees can earn a free BQA certification online from September 15th to November 20th. Visit bqa.org today.
New Holland is the undisputed leader in hay tools. We give farmers a wide range of innovative equipment that increases efficiency and productivity all year round. Because to us, smart means providing a smooth, clean cut with faster dry down, plug-free conditioning, and superior bale density. And smart means leaving less hay on the field to feed more livestock in less time. That's New Holland Smart. Visit your local New Holland dealer today.
Welcome back to this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, as we hear from the animal nutrition experts with Purina and learn about the value of a strong mineral nutrition program for your cattle herd. Thanks again for joining us in the studio today. Really appreciate it. Sarah, I want to start with you. You know, there are a lot of options when it comes to minerals, and I guess I would ask you, what are some of the key characteristics we should be looking for in selecting a mineral program?
Well, I think as a producer myself, I really value the aspect of consistent intake with minerals. So, you know, the cows, they've got to eat it every single day. It's super important to get those nutrients in the cow that they need consistently. Second of all, it needs to be balanced nutrition. I mean, basically, we need to make sure that we're feeding the right mineral for the right season or the right nutritional requirement for that cow in a certain gestational or lactational stage. Sure. And finally, you know, the quality and the integrity of the company and the appearance of the mineral and how it's going to stand up over time and resist weather. So that's why I feel so confident with our Purina Wind and Rain Storm Formula mineral formulations that are designed to get that job done. Yeah,
the Storm mineral is really intriguing, and Dr. Cosby, I think you have a demonstration showing us just how your Storm mineral actually resists some of the common problems we have from a weather standpoint.
We do, Kevin. With the Wind and Rain Storm mineral, our market research has emphasized how important that was. 4 of the top 6 reasons that producers say they don't use mineral has to do with intake. So we want to make sure we have consistent intake. To me, it is difficult to have consistent intake without a weather-resistant mineral formula. If it blows away and the cattle don't get it, or if it cakes up and becomes less palatable and the cattle don't consume it, it doesn't matter how good that mineral is if the cattle aren't consuming it. So what we have to demonstrate our weather resistance is two minerals. This is the wind and rain storm mineral, a larger particle size, and this represents my mineral feeder, and there are some holes drilled in the bottom of that mineral feeder.
All right.
And on this side is a more conventional meal mineral with, again, same number of holes drilled in the bottom of that mineral feeder. If we do that at home with our mineral feeders, it allows that water to get away from the mineral when we get a
rain event.
Rain event, right, which I think many of us right now would appreciate in our homes right now. So we'll pour that mineral, or the water, over the mineral. Yes. And we'll start to take a look at how much of that water actually gets away from the mineral and comes through. And one of the things that I guess as we do this demonstration, Kevin, one of the most common questions we get is, if it resists water that well, does it also resist digestion? That's
a good question, yeah.
And that was a question that myself and the other nutritionists had as we looked at these programs. Through our research at the Purina Animal Nutrition Center outside Gray Summit, Missouri, we've taken a look and actually analyzed to make sure that once those minerals get into the small intestine and that low pH, the ingredients we're using, which are feed-safe ingredients to make this technology, that the animal actually does digest it. The minerals are thoroughly bioavailable, and the rancher is getting the mineral nutrition that he's paying for.
I'm amazed at how quickly that is dissipating through this wind and rain storm mineral. It really is amazing how much, and it's primarily because of the particle size, or what are we seeing there?
There's a combination of the particle size, so a larger particle size resists blowing in the wind, and then the other thing is that larger particle size allows that water to percolate through. And finally, there are some ingredients in there that help that mineral resist the water. Those are those digestible ingredients I mentioned.
Right. Yeah. Now, I hate trying to take mineral out and having it totally caked up like cement. You know what I mean? You've probably had that experience before in the past.
Right.
Yeah, we have, and I think this is a prime example. We have a little incident in our pasture this last year. We AI out in the pasture, and we have a holding pen, and I just used a simple tub. And a long time ago, Sarah said if I was ever going to use a wind and rain storm to drill a couple little holes in the bottom of it. So I did, and I dumped mineral in there while we were AIing. We came back, that was in June, we came back in September to precondition those calves, and hadn't had anything in that pen, and you could grab that mineral, and it was just like the day we put it in there.
No kidding.
And we had those cows really went to it.
Yeah, they went. They didn't hesitate to eat it.
So that was what I was going to ask. Talk to me about palatability, because you've said it several times. If cows don't eat it, I mean, it's great that it sits out there and doesn't blow. But my question is, do you find, Harry, in your operation that there is a high degree of palatability to this mineral?
Well, I think so, simply because, like you said, it's never caked up. You know, those mineral feeders are unattended, and they get rolled over, lids come off, they get weathered one way or the other.
Sure.
And like you said, the one thing I always hated was spending money on good mineral and coming out there and finding a block.
Right.
So we see a real consistent consumption with this type of mineral.
That's great. Well, guys, yeah, go ahead. You were going to say, Sarah.
That sometimes we overlook palatability. We just think they ought to eat it, but really there's quite a few minerals out there that cows don't consume readily. So.
Yeah, and I want to talk about consumption in a few minutes after this break. Don't go away. We'll take a closer look at the variety of mineral formulations available, including those that'll help you with fly control. We'll be back with more right after this.
Well, I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher can, because he has to make his living off of it. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction, and it's really been profitable for us. It just makes that much of a difference.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition. They don't go up and down drastically in weight. Every head on this ranch is fed the Purina Superlix 30. If we keep them on that feed, they stay in optimum condition year-round.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better all throughout the whole year. The products they're producing are very much in line with what the rancher needs to be using to be profitable in the future. that's the best thing ever happened to us.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
There are many great reasons to join NCBA, and that includes exclusive NCBA member discounts and benefits from some outstanding companies.
Hi, this is Kerry Bastine, president of Roper Apparel and Footwear, Stetson Apparel Boots, and Tin Hall. We are very proud sponsors of the NCBA, and for all new members signing up with the NCBA, you get 50% off your first purchase, and for all Go Forward members, you get 25% off 4 times a year. Go to urbanwesternwear.com, click on the NCBA specials, use your coupon code for your first 50% off, and come back to Urban Western Wear all year long and use your 25% coupons that you'll find in the National Cattlemen's newspaper.
Big discounts on boots, clothing, and Western apparel is just one of the many amazing deals you get as an NCBA member. Don't miss out. Join NCBA today and enjoy these exclusive member discounts. Find out more at beefusa.org.
Welcome back. We're focusing on mineral nutrition and the work of Purina in helping producers grow and care for their cattle in the most efficient ways possible. Back with us in the studio are Dr. N.T. Cosby, Harry Mosier, and Sarah Leonard. And joining us now is Brian Hupp with Alticid. Brian,
how you doing?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Tell folks a little bit about your background.
Yeah, my name is Brian Hupp. I'm with Central Life Sciences. I've been with Central for about 5 years. I reside in Raymore, Missouri, and I get the pleasure of traveling the entire country and working with Purina with our Alticid fly control product.
Outstanding. You know, we're nearing wintertime now, and I guess my question would be, why should we be concerned about fly control in the wintertime, Brian?
Yeah, so when we talk about fly control, most people think about getting started early in the spring, and that's really important. But you've probably heard the phrase, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. And so finishing up strong on your fly control is really important because what we're trying to do is give producers a head start on next year's fly season. And if they were to use our product in the Purina Wind and Rain Storm Minerals longer into the fall, you're going to have less flies overwintering in the dirt that are going to come out next spring, so you won't have that large explosion of the horn flies. So if you keep it in longer, you're going to take away quite a bit of those flies are going to overwinter. So that's really the goal behind it.
Give folks an understanding of the overall impact flies have on cattle operations.
Yeah, so for years, the industry's been using $40 per head in losses if you don't do something about the horn flies on your cows. Quite frankly, that's probably a 10 to 12-year-old number. So it probably could be higher, but I like to stay on the conservative side, and $40 is still quite a bit of money per head on someone's operation. And so between blood loss, the stress that animal's under, the reduced grazing, they're all bunched up in the corner of a pasture, it's not doing anything. They're just not going to be comfortable. Cow comfort's the name of the game, and they're just not going to be as productive. And so it does have a big impact. In fact, they say over $1 billion per year in losses to cattlemen in the United States.
That's folded money, as they say.
That's right.
Harry, what impact have you seen in your own operation? I guess I'd be curious to know what methods have you tried to control flies?
I think like most cattle producers, we've probably gone the whole realm of bringing the cattle in and spraying them and fly ear tags. We still do use some of the porons. But the luck we've had with the fly control product and the mineral, I think, has been really good. And like Brian said, if we can keep them out grazing, we don't have to worry about transfer of pink eye. Some of that stuff which horn flies cause, it's well worth having it out there.
So Brian, tell us exactly how this Alticid product works when we feed it through mineral.
Yeah, so obviously it's fed through the mineral, and ends up in the manure, passes right through that animal and ends up in the manure. That's where horn flies lay their eggs. And so when that horn fly lays its egg, it's going to go from egg to larva to the pupa stage and then come out as an adult. But when Alticid is fed and it's in that manure, that fly never makes it to the pupa stage. So it stops there and it just dies in the manure. So therefore you're able to control the number of flies that come out. And that's really the key, is breaking that life cycle. As Harry talked about, there's a lot of different ways you can kill flies. All of them have a place in the industry. However, we feel the best place to start is breaking that life cycle in that manure.
And talk to us about timing. When do we need to start in order to get that control you're talking about?
Yeah, so we have a 30-30 program that we say here's when you should start and when you should stop. Basically, you want to start 30 days before that last frost in the spring. keep it in front of them all summer long, like we've talked about, consistent intake. And then come fall time, when you have that first frost in the fall, do it for another 30 days after that. And that's really important because those temperatures in those 30 days on both sides of that will get up over 60, 65 degrees, and flies will emerge and they'll breed and they'll feed on animals and they're going to lay eggs, and making sure we cut that out is really important. So,
Sarah, you get around and talk to a lot of producers. What are you hearing from other producers besides Harry relative to their experience with this fly control through the mineral product?
Well, I have positive feedback every day, producers that have used the products that might have had some doubts up front. I hear a lot that my neighbor doesn't use it, so I don't know if I should spend the money on the fly control feed-through product, and I can assure them that they certainly will see the benefits. I mean, we have cows that share fence rows, and we definitely can see a difference between the two herds. So it's very effective, and I recommend the fly control formula whenever I'm given the chance.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Dr. Cosby, I would ask you, clearly fly control is one production challenge. What are some of the other production challenges that we can address through a good mineral program?
Well, I think, Kevin, the flies are something we can see and that we can help and take care of with a product like Alticid. Some of the other things that we can see that can be helped with mineral, I see a lot in the area I cover where we graze a lot of fescue forages, and we see cows standing in ponds a lot, and we blame that oftentimes on the fact that they're eating fescue, therefore their body temperature's high, and the cow's trying to cool off in the pond. And I think that certainly can be true. Those cows may also be trying to escape from flies as well, and that can lead to some mastitis issues potentially in those cows, some health problems for the calves, as well as some foot problems that we all deal with in our cow herds. They're just coming in and out of those ponds, and all of those things are secondary causes of potentially not managing our fly populations.
Great points. Thank you so much for your perspective, and thank you, Brian, for sharing with us a little more about Alticid. Now, there are a variety of mineral formulas to fit your operation and your management style. If you'd like more information, visit the website purinamills.com. We'll have more on keys to success in managing your mineral program right after this. Stay with us.
No storm is too powerful for new Purina wind and rain storm minerals, formulated with ultimate weather resistance. That means more minerals in the feeder and available to your cattle. Wind and rain storm minerals provide more consistent intake and balanced mineral nutrition to optimize herd health and breedback rates. See the difference at your local Purina dealer or visit cattlenutrition.com. Wind and rain storm minerals, another way Purina is building better cattle.
Every truck can tow a boat. Every truck can climb a hill. Every truck can haul a trailer. But not everyone can say they're the fastest growing truck brand in America. Guts Glory Ram.
Set sail for San Diego and the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's the cattle industry's biggest convention with education, networking, and fun that can't be beat. Plus, you can check out the huge NCBA Trade Show, and there will be a special event held on the historic USS Midway. It's the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, January 27th through 29th in San Diego. Visit beefusa.org for more.
Welcome back. We've talked about how wind and rain storm mineral can stand up to the weather and how you can add fly control to the mix of your mineral program. And Dr. Cosby, it looks like the rain has finally quit there in Mexico, Missouri, and we've come out to check our mineral feeders, and what do we find?
Well, as you can see, there is quite a bit of difference in the amount of water that came through. And so if we try to pour out our conventional mineral after that water is...
Yes, I've had that experience before.
I think a lot of us have.
And that's before 3 days of 90-degree weather.
Right. That's right. And so you can imagine as the sun hits that, what's going to happen to that. And then will the cattle actually want to come up and consume that? And so if we compare that to the wind and rain mineral, you see how that just poured out quite well and stayed loose. As those cows come up, bump it with their nose, it'll fall apart and it'll continue be palatable for those cows. And we'll get our investment back by getting that nutrition into the cattle.
It's an outstanding demonstration, very, very compelling. So let's talk about placement of the mineral. Not always can we keep it out of the rain, but it is true that the placement of the mineral can impact grazing patterns. Tell us more about that, Dr. Cosby.
Absolutely. For years, of course, cattlemen have known that what really affects distribution is water, of course, Kevin, especially out here in the arid country. But the second thing would be, as cattlemen would say, salt. And of course, we're talking about complete mineral programs here, and where we place those mineral feeders within our pasture can draw cows to maybe some underutilized areas of those pastures and impact the grazing distribution and nutrition to our cow herd.
How do you use that from a practical perspective, Harry, in your operation?
We definitely do. We're predominantly a south wind summer kind of area. So the cattle tend to graze into the south end of the pastures. We try to move most of our feeders away from the water and into the north end of the pastures if it permits, and spread the cattle to grazing out for that kind of situation.
So, Sarah, tell us, what if a producer says, yeah, this is fine, but not only do I have to buy a mineral, but I have to buy a mineral feeder? What do you tell them?
Well, we do have a solution for that. We have a wind and rain storm formula mineral tub. And it's actually the best form of weatherized mineral we can possibly manufacture.
Wow.
It comes in a 225-pound tub, and they place it just like they would our loose mineral products. And we actually see phenomenal, particularly fly control altitude delivery through the tubs from a consistent intake standpoint.
It's a great example. And let's talk consumption once again. I know you're passionate about that topic. How do we track and measure whether the cattle are getting the right amount of mineral?
Well, Kevin, I tell you what, I recommend that my producers have a diary, a log, or some kind of calendar in the truck with them, and really mark how much mineral they put out in a pasture. They know how many cows are in there, and hopefully they're checking these cows every 3, 4, 5 days, and they come back and they're out, or they have a lot left, and we can work together with our dealers and myself to calculate intake. Basically, number of cows divided by how much pounds they put out over how many days they put it out. So 50 cows, they ought to be putting a bag of mineral out about every 4 to 5 days.
Even us CSU grads can figure that out. All right. Now, what about those times when cattle are either over-consuming or under-consuming mineral? What should we be doing in those periods?
Well, to me, that also becomes a placement issue, and we move mineral feeders or the tubs around. That's handy about the tubs. They're easier to move around, but we either move it closer to the water or closer to the loafing area if we're not getting enough consumption, and vice versa. We move it away from those familiar or comfortable areas for the cows if they're eating too much.
Dr. Cosby, let's talk cost for a minute, because as cow-calf producers, we're always trying to manage the cost of our operation. What should our consideration set be as we evaluate the cost versus the value of a mineral program?
Absolutely, and when we think about cost, we're thinking, our mind goes to the cost of the mineral, and what if they're over-consuming? And certainly that is a cost, and we recognize that, and why monitoring intake, as Sarah mentioned, is so critically important to make sure we're investing those dollars wisely. Underconsumption can be just as costly, but those are the things that are tougher to measure. Maybe it's a few cows that got bred, but maybe a cycle later than what they could have, but a lower milk production in terms of what that means to weaning weight. So there are costs of both over and under consumption, and that's why we focus so much time on consistent consumption with the wind and rain minerals.
Sometimes we only think about cost in terms of the things we write check for, not the things that we don't get a check from. Right? It's a great point. Thanks so much for your perspective. We'll have more insights from our panel of experts right after this. Stay with us.
Well, I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better throughout the whole year.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
It's the official monthly publication of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. The National Cattleman is produced exclusively for NCBA members and includes coverage of the news and events affecting our industry. Every issue includes market analysis, feature stories, and practical management tips. Start receiving your copy of The National Cattleman. Call 866-USA-BEEF or go online to beefusa.org and join today.
Beef quality assurance is your consumer-friendly story. Becoming BQA certified allows you to share your story and ensure customers that we're responsibly raising a safe, wholesome, and healthy beef supply. The checkoff-funded BQA program equips you with the best management practices for handling cattle, tending to their health, and taking care of the environment. And now, thanks to a partnership with Behringer Ingelheim, you and your employees can earn a free BQA certification online from September 15th to November 20th. Visit bqa.org today.
Welcome back to this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen, as we get insights into the benefits of an effective mineral nutrition program. Harry, let's talk a little bit about your experience. What have you seen both from a production standpoint, but more importantly, from a profitability standpoint in terms of the mineral program in your operation?
Well, I guess to give you just a little history, years ago we had some nutritionalists tell us that we didn't need to feed mineral to cows in their second trimester. We found out that we had issues when it came to calving and cows cleaning and everything else. So the part that the mineral has done for us as far as herd health and breeding back and all that has been very important to us.
That's outstanding. And what has it been like to partner with Purina? I can see that you've got a really strong relationship with this organization.
We do. They're a top-notch company. We went to their genetic suppliers VIP meeting, which was Lisa and I both did. It was phenomenal. And it just brought you back into kind of a basis of what we're doing and how we're managing our cattle, and it was very good and very educational.
It's a great program. I enjoyed it as well this summer. And Dr. Cosby, tell folks who have not been able to make the trip to Gray Summit a little bit about the history of Purina research and what's on the horizon for those of us in the cattle business.
That's right, Kevin. William Danforth was the founder of Purina, and it was important to him to have a facility where he could develop and test feeds that would ultimately be used by the producers that we in Purina serve. And so we continue to do that on our 1,188-acre facility southwest of St. Louis. Some of the things we'll continue to work on mineral because it is such a cornerstone, as we talked about. We'll work at improving our supplementation programs that fit into our sustained nutrition and accuration products, health and receiving rations such as the Stress Care 5 that Harry mentioned that he's used. All of those things are what we continue to test. And when we have producers come into that research facility, much like you did, Harry, we don't just talk. We try to listen to and listen to them and what some of their challenges are and how we can work to provide some of those nutritional solutions.
So Sarah, as a sales specialist, what does that investment mean to your producers, the investment you all are making in research?
Well, I think it gives them confidence, and they feel like we're really serving as a partner in their operation and to bring them value-added products that can really get the job done.
Outstanding. Well, we really appreciate your comments. And to find out more about this and other topics related to cattle nutrition in Purina, just visit the website purinamills.com. Now, don't go away. We'll be back with Baxter Black and more right after this.
Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else.
Hi there, I'm Joey.
And I'm Rory, and welcome to our farm outside Nashville, Tennessee. When we go to work, whether it's on tour or here at home, we wear the West.
That's right. Where it's that perfect snap shirt or that perfect pair of boots. When you wear Roper, you wear the West.
Learn more about us, Joey and Rory, and about Roper Western Wear at eroper.com.
Telling the truth and being real and feeding my family a home-cooked meal. That's important to me. That's important to me. And planting the garden and watching it grow.
Sure, cattle bring in the profits, but Case IH equipment helps you do everything else.
Calves require adequate, high-quality colostrum immediately following birth to receive the immune and nutritional support needed to fight diseases and thrive. Next-generation Colostrix colostrum replacer and supplement are USDA licensed to aid in the treatment of failure of passive transfer and contain natural maternal bovine colostrum antibodies against E. coli K99. Ask your animal health supplier for Colostrix or visit agrilabs.com for details. Colostrix makes all systems go.
We know who made that hitch. We know who cut the steel, who milled the ball, and who welded the seams. We know who tested, measured, and checked. We even know who thought the whole thing up. We're B&W, and we know your hitch. Because we don't make them halfway around the world. We make them all right here. B&W. Trusted.
The very first time I saw him, he was coming off of the truck. The order buyer averaged down or else just plain got stuck. So he went in a pen of feeders, but when it came time to sell, the packer buyer cut him off. The reason was plain as hell. He looked like a long-haired Jersey, at least he did to me. And there might have been a camel somewhere in his family tree, because he'd shed his hair in patches past the point of no return, sort of like a shaggy carpet somebody tried to burn. So he went with tail enders and got sorted off again and made the rounds when springtime came, just going from pen to pen. Well, the weeks drug on, but I kept track. In truth, he was hard to miss, because he stuck out like a cold sore on the lips you'd planned to kiss. So one day I told the foreman, you know, old Red's been here a while. I figured his performance up and it's time to reconcile. I'd calculated that he'd had 600 days on feed. Been through the chute so many times he was almost broke to lead. He'd eaten 16,000 pounds of grain since he'd begun and converted at a ratio of 202 to 1, which in fact is pretty sorry, unless you're raising whale. So that morning on the 1 ton, old Red got shipped to the sale. Well, I was bragging at the horse barn how I'd probably get a raise for pointing out that keeping poor producers seldom pays. Some of the boys objected, but sentiment has no place in hardcore ag economics, and Red was a classical case. The foreman cut my lecture short that evening just about 5. Get your butt down to receiving. Time for the trucks to arrive. New cattle were coming from auctions, local and countrywide. When I went down to unload them, I dang near laid down and cried. Old Red come strolling off of the truck like Caesar entering Rome. He gave me a sort of a gotcha look and said, "Hi, honey, I'm home." This is Baxter Black and old Red from out there.
Thanks, Baxter. We always enjoy our visits with you. Now, a reminder, registration is open now for the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show in San Diego, California. Find out all you need to know and get registered at the website beefusa.org. We'll be back with more and some final thoughts from our panel right after this.
Say this is a calf that's been run through the chute a few too many times. Going through the chute stresses cattle, causing them not to eat like they should. Luckily, Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ provides proven protection against key respiratory diseases in a single shot, with just one trip through the chute. Talk to your veterinarian about Pyramid 5 plus Presponse SQ, and soon your calves will relax and eat like a whole different animal.
I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better throughout the whole year.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
It's time to gear up for fall and save big on a powerful John Deere 6M or 6R Series tractor. Choose any model from 105 to 155 horsepower and get up to $6,000 cash off. Or get 0% financing for 60 months and up to $1,000 off. From field to feedlot, you'll find the right fit in a new 6M or 6R Series tractor. Make your move today.
I think a rancher has to be a steward of the land. There's nobody else that can take care of land better than a rancher can, because he has to make his living off of it. When we switched over to the Purina products, it was a step in the right direction, and it's really been profitable for us. It just makes that much of a difference.
The difference we see in the cattle is the consistency of their nutrition. They don't go up and down drastically in weight. Every head on this ranch is fed the Purina Superlix 30. If we keep them on that feed, they stay in optimum condition year-round.
The cattle hold their condition a lot better all throughout the whole year. The products they're producing are very much in line with what the rancher needs to be using to be profitable in the future. That's the best thing ever happened to us.
It does make a difference that we can see, day in and day out.
There are many great reasons to join NCBA, and that includes exclusive NCBA member discounts and benefits from some outstanding companies.
Hi, this is Kerry Bastine, president of Roper Apparel and Footwear, Stetson Apparel Boots, and Tin Hall. We are very proud sponsors of the NCBA, and for all new members signing up with the NCBA, you get 50% off your first purchase, and for all Go Forward members, you get 25% off 4 times a year. Go to urbanwesternwear.com, click on the NCBA specials, use your coupon code for your first 50% off, and come back to Urban Western Wear all year long and use your 25% coupons that you'll find in the National Cattlemen's newspaper.
Big discounts on boots, clothing, and Western apparel is just one of the many amazing deals you get as an NCBA member. Don't miss out. Join NCBA today and enjoy these exclusive member discounts. Find out more at beefusa.org.
Welcome back as we wrap up our special edition of our program with our friends from Purina Animal Nutrition. And Harry, I wanted to circle back to a comment you'd made. You said that you had the experience to go to the VIP program at the Purina Animal Nutrition Center there in Gray Summit, Missouri this summer. Tell folks a little bit about that experience.
Well, it was a genetic supplier meeting. We spent a couple days down there. It was very educational. They had speakers come in and talk to us about developing our breeding stock. We were able to question them on some of the questions we had on what was going on. We saw things that we had kind of to refresh our memories from back in college and such, the rumen bugs, which was tremendous. I mean, all of that was very good. But we got to network with some other producers too, and that's always a great opportunity.
Sarah, from your perspective, I'm sure you've had a number of producers go to Gray Summit. What do they normally come back and tell you?
Well, I tell you what, usually the trip over, we talk in generalities, and on the way back, they are just so excited and asking questions about the different sessions that they saw, and really realizing that our company is so full of integrity and that the research is behind it, and we have a way of illustrating that to the attendees at the conference, that when they come home, they really have a new appreciation for our products and our technology.
Yeah, and your people. You've got a great group of very bright and capable researchers down there that are put on a very impressive program.
Yes, they do.
So let's talk about the next couple of months, Harry, from a producer's standpoint. You've got a bull sale coming up, is that right?
Yep.
Here in November?
November 14th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So as you think about preparing the bulls for that sale and think about wintering your cows, what are on the top of your mind related to nutrition?
Well, right now we're focused on the bull sale, but we're also getting ready to breed heifers in November. So getting them ready nutritionally is important to us. Developing our heifers going on into the spring for our spring breeding program is also, we're just getting calves weaned because we calve a little later. Mm-hmm. So between that and the cow nutrition going into the winter so that we have them in good shape, ready to withstand the winter and be ready to calve next spring.
Yes. So Dr. Cosby, again, we focus a lot on mineral. Highlight for us, if you would, some of the products that might fit into the next couple of months for those of us who have cow-calf operations.
Yeah, Kevin, I was so glad to hear Harry talk about withstand the winter and get them prepared for winter. That's really what we're about right now is if we wait until winter hits to start trying to supplement our cows, we're behind the 8 ball. So now is really the time that I work with our sales folks like Sarah and customers like Harry with their forages that they have available to put together programs that can help them, whether that's utilizing a product like an Accuration liquid or an Accuration dry concentrate to help get those first calf heifers rebred. Mm-hmm. How can we get their calves weaned successfully and target that backgrounding period with again some Accuration type products. Those are all things that we'll be busy trying to help our customers with the next several weeks and months.
That's outstanding. And I guess what I would ask now is just for some final thoughts. Dr. Cosby, we've talked a lot today about purine animal nutrition and particularly mineral. What would you like to leave our audience with?
A few things is that, as nutritionists, we can put together, quality nutritional programs and specifically on mineral, but ultimately it comes down to meeting what the customer wants, and that's consistent intake and weather resistance. And we try to put those three into a package and get that to our great group of 4,000 dealers nationwide that can supply those products to our customers.
And it's important to think about on a year-round basis. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. As Harry mentioned, some problems. We try to skip maybe that second trimester and have some problems show up. So year-round nutrition is critical.
Harry, what would you share with our viewers from a producer standpoint?
Well, I'm not a nutritionalist. I'm not a specialist. And so, I encourage people to call. It's becoming such a specialized world.
Yes.
Call the Sarah Leonards and some of those, or the NTs, and get the information you need or to be able to make decisions and good decisions.
They have a great group of technical representatives that are able to help troubleshoot issues and challenges that we have. And, we have such a huge investment, especially seed stock producers like yourselves, on those genetics that to short them nutritionally is just foolishness.
Well, in any cow-calf operation, the value that we have in those animals right now, even as this market has gone down a little bit, they still have a tremendous value.
Yeah.
So we need to do everything we can.
And Sarah, what would you tell our viewers today?
Well, I'm just thankful to be here today, but I want to encourage our viewers to reach out to their local dealerships and their local Purina representatives like myself in their region and ask questions and see if you can get a farm gate visit from one of them and discuss what's going on your operation and maybe how Purina can help you with your cows and cow operation.
And you've also mentioned some trials and tests that you've done with producers like Harry. Tell us about those.
Oh, man, those are a very effective way of really showing how our product can work in the market. And with real-world situations, situations. I mean, with Harry, we used our product, the Stress Care 5, 5-pound feeding rate for starting cattle the first 21 days. We've done a lot of mineral trials here lately, as well as rangeland supplement and AccuRation trials, and all of that information is put together and compiled and allows us to give solid recommendations to producers so that they know what to expect.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for coming to the show. Now remember, for additional information, you can go to the website purinamills.com. Well, that wraps up this edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks again to our panel from Purina, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next week right here on RFD TV.
No storm is too powerful for new Purina Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, formulated with ultimate weather resistance. That means more minerals in the feeder and available to your cattle. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals provide more consistent intake and balanced mineral nutrition to optimize herd health and breedback rates. See the difference at your local Purina dealer or visit cattlenutrition.com. Wind and Rain Storm Minerals, another way Purina is building better cattle.
Every truck can tow a boat. Every truck can climb a hill. Every truck can haul a trailer. But not everyone can say they're the fastest growing truck brand in America. Guts, Glory, Ram.
Set sail for San Diego and the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It's the cattle industry's biggest convention with education, networking, and fun that can't be beat. Plus, you can check out the huge NCBA Trade Show, and there will be a special event held on the historic USS Midway. It's the 2016 Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show, January 27th through 29th in San Diego. Visit beefusa.org for more.